Hello everyone, this is Wick back with another Wicked Wiggly Windup. And as you can see, we're on episode 10, another Gelphie fanfic. And I'm actually gonna just jump right into it because it is rather long, so this will be a multi-part video. Right, as you can see, we've got another one by Story Reader 01, Forged in the Vindomisian Fires, Elphaba's Imperial Ascension. It is about 5,000 words, so I'm going to need to make it multiple parts. That shouldn't affect how it sounds to any listeners out there. But just to let you know, it will be a longer one, so I hope nobody minds, and let's just get right into it. The first rays of dawn crept over the rolling emerald hills of Glinda's ancestral homeland, the lush and bountiful Vindomis province. Elphaba stood by the arched window of the lavish Arduena estate's expansive bedchambers, watching as the soft pinks and brilliant golds of the morning light danced across the meticulously manicured grounds. The gentle breeze carried the sweet, earthy fragrance of a dawning spring, with hints of fresh blossoms, dew-kissed grass, and the gentle perfume of the blushing rose bushes, carefully cultivated along the winding cobblestone paths, mingling in the crisp air. She shivered slightly, pulling the thick ivory wool of her heavy cloak tighter across her slight frame as a deep, bone-rattling chill ran insidiously through her body. An unmistakable harbinger of the tenacious spring cold she could feel viciously taking hold. A ragged cough tore its way from her throat, the harsh bark leaving her body quaking as her eyes stung with unshed tears. Curse this wretched, ill-timed illness and its merciless onslaught! A thick, congested sniffle escaped her. She turned back towards the sumptuously appointed bedchamber she shared with the new love of her life, Glinda. Though the two young women had only been courting for half a year, the depth of their bond transcended the ephemeral, running deeper than the richest, oldest roots of the ancient English oak trees peppered across the lush, verdant grounds of the palatial Arduena estate. Glinda's thick golden hair splayed across the silken pillowcase like a luxurious halo, her delicate features relaxed in an expression of utter serenity and peace as she slumbered on, unbothered by the coming light of day. The soft cotton sheets pooled enticingly around her body's sultry curves, barely concealing her creamy skin from Elphaba's hungry, admiring gaze. A ghost of fond, hopelessly smitten smile The ghost of a fond, hopelessly smitten smile played across Elphaba's lips as she drank in the sight of her beloved's restful form. How strange and miraculous it was that she, the scorned and mocked artichoke of Shiz University, could find herself so deliriously, powerfully enamored with the prestigious school's reigning celebrated beauty and the most sought-after debutante. The same Glinda who commanded the attention and fawning admiration of every eye, heart, and libido within a 50-mile radius by simply existing. Yet Glinda's affection for the green girls was unshakably true. Her heart and brilliant mind enamored with Elphaba's own Sorry, I can't read today. Her heart and brilliant mind, enamored with Elphaba's own ferocious wit, impassioned idealism, courage of convictions, and unapologetic eccentricities that flew defiantly in the face of polite society's oppressive conventions. In Glinda's oceanic eyes, Elphaba's striking verdant skin, slender and sharp angel silhouette, and unconventional affectations were not unsightly flaws warranting scorn, but rather captivating facets that composed her magnificently bewitching and spellbinding allure. Features as singular as Elphaba's spirit itself that stirred Glinda's very blood with a tantalizing, forbidden desire. Here within the sanctuary of these chambers, and tucked away in Glinda's ancestral dens, Elphaba could simply be herself without the burden of consequence or judgment's prying, hateful glare. At the upland's ancestral Arduena estate, her peculiarities were celebrated and cherished, not scorned and rejected as they so often were back at Shiz. Yet even in this pastoral refuge, her brilliant mind could not linger too long in that blissful reverie. The nagging, insistent weight of her intensive studies pressed in on her thoughts as perniciously as a vice crafted of pure white-hot iron, refusing to be ignored for even a moment. The impending deadline for the paradigm-shattering, transformative research project she was meticulously completing under the esteemed animal professor, the illustrious Dr. Dillmond, loomed ever closer with each passing sunrise. If her radical, wildly avant-garde theories and methodologies managed to withstand scrutiny, if the innovative formulae and mathematical framework she'd spent countless sleepless nights precisely codifying proved sound, it could utterly reshape and upend the entire established field of arcane study and magical applications across their world forevermore. Such earth-shattering potential carried an immense burden of pressure upon Elphaba's shoulders. Yet this weight was one she carried willingly, aligning with the sacred mission that her moral conscience cried out for. to stand as an uncompromising voice and stalwart vanguard for the marginalized animals of Oz who could not speak for themselves against the wizard's escalating tyranny and draconic oppression. She could unravel the boundaries of magical convention. It could upend the subjugated status quo and spark long overdue social reformation. To that end, accomplishing this milestone of academic brilliance was not solely an exercise in bolstering her academic pedigree or stoking her intellectual vanities. It was a means to an end, no matter how lofty, a pivotal step on the path toward real, tangible change and uprising against the complacent injustices perpetrated by the wizard's tarnished regime. It will require every iota of her formidable diligence, concentration, tireless work ethic, and analytical brilliance to properly synthesize and crystallize the complex project into a presentable thesis before its looming date of submission to the Board of Regents at Shiz. The precipitous pressure of it all caused a dull, insistent throbbing to bloom in her temple. How much more was expected of her? To be a devoted partner to Glinda while juggling onerous academic responsibility and this weighty, solemn clarion call that resonated so profoundly within her very bones. Elphaba moved towards the elegantly carved vanity of rich mahogany, examining her pallid, sickly face in the mirror's reflection. Her striking emerald complexion was discolored, tinged with the faint shades of sickly blue and grayish pallor, no doubt brought on by the icy, invasive tendrils of the fierce spring illness tenaciously working its way through her body and sapping her of her dwindling reserves of energy and vitality. She knew it be imperative to keep up her strength over the coming days of the Easter revelry at the Arduena estate. The festivities and pageantry would provide a much-needed reprieve from her Herculean academic labors, yet she could not afford to succumb entirely to this insidious malady while here in the heart of Glinda's ancestral homeland. Not with the Upland family, no doubt anticipating her attendance and participation in their high holiday traditions with bated breath. The first true introduction to the peculiar young woman who had so thoroughly enraptured their precious daughter's affections. Newfound anxiety gripped Elphaba's pounding heart. Could she possibly maintain the illusion of genteel propriety and poise expected of a courtly lady for the duration of the celebration of this wretched illness rapidly sapping her energy? The thought of failing to make a favorable impression filled her with no small amount of dread. Glinda had proven herself so proud to finally bring her emerald love home to the opulent Arduena halls. To dishonor that gesture was an unsightly display of frail constitutionality that would be unforgivable. Pushing those worries aside for the moment, Elphaba opened the small wooden case on the vanity's surface, reverently withdrawing a delicately frosted glass vial. The final precious remnants of the cloaking elixir she had brewed shimmered inside like ethereal liquid moonlight. With a trembling hand, body racked by a deep, phlegm-filled cough, she unstoppered the vial and drained its shimmering contents in one practiced motion. Her reflection shimmered and blurred violently for the briefest of moments as the enchantment took hold. When it finally settled, the mirror portrayed the serene visage of a pale, porcelain-skinned young village girl, her verdant emerald hue now carefully concealed behind this fragile, magical veil. A flimsy shield against the scrutiny, scorn, and outright hostility of the outside world, particularly from the ever-probing, soul-searing gaze of the wizard's forces. Alright, I'm going to pause it right here just because this is the first break.